Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we are here live at the World Trade Center. We're going to be talking about everything that is terpenes. We are here with some awesome guests, and so let's just kind of get right into the bios here. First off is David Heldreth with True Terpene. Next up is Dr. Alison Draisin. She's representing Terpestival and CASP. And remotely, we have Kayla Hall with Cannabinder.
And also remotely is Hunter Holliman with Forefront Ventures.
And then we have Nicole Wicker of Altopa. Nicole is the CEO and founder of Altopa, maker of the Oblend. And we are at the World Trade Center. It's a little shout out to them. The World Trade Center grows trade and investment by providing direct access to the largest business network in the world with 300 offices in 99 countries. The World Trade Center Tacoma is the lone trade service for the Pacific Northwest. Their seminars, award ceremonies, and conferences can generate contacts and contracts. Trade research can clarify opportunities, and their matchmaking can turn those opportunities into trade. Personally, I get peace of mind with international purchase orders from bank guarantees and international letters of credit. I also like the e-commerce export store, which is partnered with Alibaba. It's translated to 18 languages and gives you an opportunity to put your products online and get them overseas to hard-to-reach places like Asia. So, Alison, we're seeing in recreational states like Washington, some consumers are entering retail stores asking for terpene information and products that display specific terpene dominant.
Are they really? That makes me excited. They're asking for that.
We'll say, well, there's a couple of people that go into some states, some consumers entering the stores asking for terpene information. And so with this going hand in hand with the embrace of rare or minor cannabinoids such as the CBC and CBG and THCV, but so how do these cannabinoids offer a unique experience that doesn't fit the mold of the Indica Sativa hybrid?
Well, I don't actually like to use the words sativa, indica, and hybrid because those are part of like slang culture. And it's very unfortunate because when I go into a store now, that is the focus, is sativa, indica, and hybrid. But there's so much more to the plant than just those particular words. And it really, those words were really assigned to the botany of the plant and how the plant looked, whether it was short with fat leaves or tall with thin leaves. But there are plants such as the Indian hemp plant that you would suspect would look like a sativa, in that being a sativa tends to be tall with thin leaves, but it actually looks more like an indica, which is characterized by a short full plant with fat leaves. So that kind of tells us that we really shouldn't be basing or categorizing particular cannabis plants by by the name sativa and indica, and more so by how you want to feel. And so, like sativas, rather than asking for a sativa, ask for something that's like uplifting. That you have certain terpenes in addition to different cannabinoids. That so, like you might find myrcene, or linalool, which is typically something more that's relaxing. You might still find that in something that is labeled in a store called sativa. And so by going into a store and asking, say, I want to feel this way, I want to feel uplifted, or I want to be relaxed, or I want to be able to focus, that is a better way of asking for what you're looking for. I am not a big fan of high THC. I feel that the higher the THC, the less terpenes that you get in a plant, and it tends to not be as medicinal. And so I prefer suggesting to our patients, we actually prefer lower THC, which gives you higher terpenes. As far as like the other cannabinoids like CBG and THCA, right now in the dispensary system, it's very difficult to find them. And so even if you look up online for something like, I've heard that Durban poison or Dutch treat tends to be high in THCV, which is considered an appetite suppressant, that it's very difficult to find that particular Dutch treat that is high in THCV. It's not listed on the item. It's very rare that a bud tender has this knowledge and information, and so it's really up to consumers to do the legwork and to investigate it themselves and to
to Google is your friend, and to find exactly the strains that may have the cannabinoids that they're looking for. Each grower and each plant is going to be different. But I always say, just do your homework and go in with how you want to feel, and ask your bud tender those type of questions.
I am actually coming from the camp that scientifically the terms Indica Sativa hybrid are no longer scientifically valid the way that we use them. So, there's plenty of data to support this right now, but Sativa Indica hybrid really refers to the morphology of the plant, the physical expression of the plant, broadleaf versus shortleaf, tall versus squat and dense. Those terms really have no bearing on the effects that one might have when consuming cannabis. And in fact, the feeling that we ascribe to, scare quote, indica, are really just the presence of higher than 0.5% myrcene as a sedative. So there we get a little bit of the terpenes actually playing a role in the ideas that we have around Sativa Indica hybrid. And I used to be a bud tender. I get it. It's so expedient when a new person comes in, first time patient or consumer. You can say, look, here's a spectrum, Sativa Indica, and there's all this stuff in between, sleepy, happy, everything in between. But as someone that knows a little bit more about the plant, taxonomy, its science, metabolism, those terms are really just useless. And it's hard for us to figure out how to properly convey, a cannabinoid profile with the terpene wave. It's very hard to digest, it's very nuanced. A lot of it's kind of hand-wavy science at this point too. Which is why we see a lot of companies coming out with happy, sleepy, horny, product mixes that are trying to cut through that. But I think that, not only do these secondary cannabinoids, flavonoids, terpenoids play a huge role in how we consider the Sativa Indica dichotomy, that again is bogus science anyway. But these cannabinoids and terpenes are literally the expression of that Sativa Indica hybrid that we find expedient to use in our vernacular.
So I want to thank everybody for being here today, and appreciate you being on the podcast, The Talking Hedge. I'd like to thank my guest, Nicole. She's with the Oblend, or Altopa, maker of the Oblend. I'd like to thank Alison. She's representing CASP and the Terpestival. I want to thank David. He is here with True Terpenes.
I also want to thank my guest, Hunter Holliman with Forefront Ventures.
And Kayla is here representing the Canna-Stamp and Canna-Binder.
Thanks, Josh.
And we're going to wrap this up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is a Talking Hedge, your cannabis business podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.